Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Exploring Art in Elementary Library case study. As you know, before we did part A and part B, so now we're going to do the final part, which is part C. So, looking back with part A, remember, Art in Elementary Library is in the center of the school. So, as soon as you walk through the first set of doors, you're right there. Um, Also, each section, nonfiction, fiction, picture books, or everybody's section, graphic novels, etc., they're labeled and make it easy to navigate and find the books. We also did questions and answers about the percentage of students that are Hispanic. Are they involved and represented in school activities? Are there any school-wide celebrations, music or food reflect their unique values? We went through all of those questions. We also had some pictures of some of the collections and different things going on in the library. And then when we went into part B, we started talking about signage, standalone sections, authors, illustrators, the school website, and also the online catalog, which for Richland 1 schools is Destiny. And so, like with signage, remember, she has them labeled and also uses Dewey Decimal for nonfiction and for pictures, a few pictures of some of the books that she does have on hand and available to students right now. El Toro and Friends, Tacos Tuesday. I actually was there for a read aloud with that. It was actually quite cute. um, Said the website and Destiny, those have to be changed on the district level to enable language preferences and also to add additional pages to the home page. Librarians, they can create subpages and add pictures and PDFs, but with the school social media pages, he or she can do more with those, with the options for adding materials, pictures, and other content, to promote the library and its offerings. And so now here we are with Exploring Art in Elementary Library, Part C. So, again, with our description, Art in Elementary's library collection is an evolving hub of the school community. And I say evolving because our librarian there is always on the lookout for new materials to expand the collection and diversify what she has available for students. So she's, like I said, she's doing her best and working hard every day to get that library to be the best that it can be. So for this part, we're going to focus on a SWOT analysis, recommendations, and conclusions. So SWOT would be S, strengths, W, weaknesses, O, opportunities, T, threats, and then at the end, of course, recommendations and conclusions. So for our strengths and weaknesses, for strengths, of course, for your school library or any library, your librarians and library staff are your biggest strength. Our school librarian, she's kind, she's a supportive person who always has a listening ear to her school community. That is one of the first steps in building your library. The people that work there, if they have positive attitudes and are easy to approach and talk to, people are going to want to come. Students are going to want to come in, even if they just come in and say, "Hey, how you doing? I'm happy to see you. Good morning," or just pop in randomly throughout the day. They're happy to see you. They want to come because you're there. So you are that first step to getting patrons through the door to come in and see that library. And then your library collection is constantly changing in a positive way to reflect the school and surrounding community. So Arden's librarian, like I said, she's working hard to always find new materials and diversify the library collection so that it does reflect the students and community that the school serves. So she wants to have the collection be windows, mirrors, and revolving glass and sliding glass doors for her students, faculty, and staff, and the outline community as well. And also, the students have the opportunity to come to the library as a class and individually, of course, with a library pass. We don't want them getting in trouble. So she has group library lessons. She can also do individualized instruction when students come with their pass, of course, and help them with whatever they need for that day or that week or whatever they're doing, science project, history project, math project, whatever. She is there and will help. Now, some of the weaknesses of the school are, of course, with the some of the materials are bilingual materials. She doesn't have that many at the moment, but as I stated earlier, this is a work in progress. So she is working towards building up that part of the collection. Also, the multicultural selection contains, a handful of books for now, but it will be expanded upon with time. Like I said, with the bilingual materials, all of this will be built up in time. So each year, a little more and a little more and a little more. So it's coming, and she's going to get there. Um, Other weakness, the library, it doesn't quite reflect the school community just yet, but through this librarian's efforts, oh, it will. It's going to. It's coming. So opportunities and threats for the library. Opportunities, of course, the librarian, she can work with classroom teachers to create collaborative lessons that broaden students' reading interests. So that would be, stepping out of the library and coming into the classroom, or maybe even going to um, not well, yes, staff meetings, but also when teachers have their grade level planning, maybe step into some of those meetings and say, hey, do you mind if I sit with you guys and see what they're doing? Listen to the conversations that the teachers are having during their planning meetings, and that way she can design lessons that reflect what's going on in the classroom as well. um, each year she can order materials with the library budget to expand critical need areas of the collection, which she is doing already. So she's already taking advantage of that budget, using it to make that library even better. Also, partnering with outside organizations to bring in new materials for students. Like, she could partner with the Original Six Foundation and host a My First Library event, which is a free book fair for kindergarten students to get that home library started, so kids will have a little library of their own at home, especially in the summer when they're not at school, so they can keep on reading. And some threats, mostly it's structural, with like water, mostly when it rains, because the roof is leaking, and right over the library, that's where the water's coming in. So books and equipment have already been damaged from rainwater leaking into the space. And having to replace materials takes away from the library budget. So many new purchases have to be put on hold because she has to use some of the budget to replace what has been damaged. So those things are the major threats right now to the library. But my recommendations: focus on one area to expand upon at a time, revamp the bilingual section for 1 year or more, and then once she feels like some significant progress is made, pause and step back and evaluate what we got and whether to continue with that goal or that focus. And if you think it's good, move on to another one. Also, continue participating in school-wide activities so students learn who their librarian is. This will build up a relationship of trust and kindness, as well as interest in the library. Like I said earlier, with students dropping by to say hi, and they usually end up finding a book to check out too, which is great. Plan to host an event during the school's evening activities, like, for example, literacy night, to bring those parents into the library. Let them see who you are, see what you got going on in the library. And usually, when you do that, parents are an excellent asset to any library because they'll come volunteer with library duties and help you put those books back on the shelf. They'll be there for events and even donate materials. Maybe not books, but maybe if you have a makerspace or just supplies, pencils, papers, crayon, markers, all of those things. Those parents will help you, but they need to see you and see what you're doing so they can come on board and be right there with you. So in conclusion, overall, Arden Elementary's library has a great librarian who's got that library on the right track to becoming that central hub of the school. Her efforts to build a community and provide a welcoming space are creating genuine positive relationships with faculty, staff, and students. And I know that with continued effort and strategic budgeting and purchasing, she's going to get that library collection to bloom into a multicultural, diverse reflection of the community that it serves. So she's going to have windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors. Once she gets it all situated, it's going to be fabulous, and I know she can do it. Thank you guys, and I appreciate you listening to our library case studies parts A, B, and C. Have a good day.